In recruitment, what would you suggest is the value of a well-written plan? Well, for me, I believe it keeps me focused, it gives something to aim for, and it gives me some milestones so I can tick off as I go along to ensure that I'm achieving and getting close to my goal. But having said that, a lot of people don't plan. Why is it you think that most people don't plan in recruitment? For me, again, I think a number of reasons come down to maybe laziness, maybe don't have time, can't be bothered, don't really know how to plan in the first place. Maybe it sounds a little bit too boring, a little bit too much hard work. Well, when we do plan, why is it that some of the plans that we put in place don't actually work? Well, often the reason becomes that we don't stick to our plans, they weren't well thought out plans in the first place, maybe they weren't flexible enough to allow for changes in the environment and the economy and things like that. So we understand the importance of planning, but where could we use planning in our processes? I think we could use planning everywhere. I think we can use it to plan our day, to plan our week, plan our month, plan our year, to plan how we're going to drive sales forward, how we're going to find new candidates, how we're going to win a new PSL or a new preferred supply agreement with a new customer, how we're going to get past gatekeepers, and so on and so forth. There are numbers of ways that we can use planning in recruitment. I think often, though, we don't spend enough time planning, which is unfortunate. So I want to just very quickly show you a very simple planning process that we use in our business. It takes into consideration the 5 key components of the planning process and keeps it nice and simple and short. So short, in fact, we called it the one-page plan. Now, there are 5 very simple steps to go through. Step number 1 is what we call the goal or the vision. What is it that you are trying to achieve with your plan? Okay. Now, with any goal or vision, it's very important to make sure that it is sexy. I think something you want to actually achieve in the first place. It's tangible, so you know that when you've actually achieved it, and you have a time frame to it as well. Okay, a time frame so you know you have a deadline of when you're meant to have achieved that goal or vision. Once you've written your goal or vision, you can then take a step back and work out where are you currently, which is step 2 of the process. So step 2 looks at the reality. Where are we today? Now, you've all heard of SWOT analysis and that type of idea. So let's go through a quick SWOT analysis. So looking at the reality, step 2, what are some of the strengths, first of all? What are some of the key strengths that we have as an individual or an organization that will help us achieve our goal or vision? The next part of the SWOT analysis are the weaknesses. What are the existing weaknesses that we have within our business or the way that we work, or with me personally, that will guarantee that I will not be able to achieve my goal or vision? I need to do something about those weaknesses. The third stage are opportunities. These are things that I could achieve on the way to achieving my goal. And the final thing on the reality are the threats. What are the things that potentially could affect me from achieving my goal or vision? They may not necessarily happen, they're not existing at the moment, but they could potentially happen. I need to be aware of them so I can prepare for them accordingly. So step 1, the vision or goal. Step 2, looking at the reality and doing a SWOT analysis. That will take you a couple of minutes potentially. Third stage is what we call the option stage. And the option stage is where I identify as many ideas as possible of what I could do to get from my reality to my goal. And the best way to do this is to break down each of the things that you wrote down in your SWOT analysis, and one by one come up with one idea of what you could do to exploit each of those strengths that you have and each of those opportunities that you have, and how you can overcome and negate some of those weaknesses and some of those threats. You have a list of various options that you may come up with. You may not necessarily do all of them, but they're the ones that potentially will help you achieve your goal or vision. You then go through your options and go to stage 4 of the planning process. Stage 4, very simply, allows you to prioritize some of those actions. So the first thing you do is work out which of those options that you came up with could you do short term. Okay, so if your goal or vision is a 12-month goal or vision, short term may be in the next 2 to 3 months. You then work out which of those options that you could do, would you do a medium term, maybe in the next 3 to 6 months, and then long term in the 6 to 9 months. And eventually you're taking steps up towards your vision or goal from your reality. Stage 5 of the planning process is very simple. We now need to turn those options into tangible actions. So for each option that you came up with, whether it be short, medium or long term, you then need to work out exactly what is it you're going to do, who needs to be involved in that, and when you're going to do it by. You may end up with a list of maybe 20, 30, 40 different actions. Each of those actions gets put into your diary, into your calendar, and that becomes the process for your plan. Now, if you do all those actions, will you achieve your goal or vision? Well, potentially. It's not guaranteed, but you have a lot more chance of achieving your goal or vision if you go through that process and deliver those actions than you would do if you said, for example, wouldn't it be nice if I increased my sales by a further 25% this year?